So, after a recent meeting, the Knights of the Realms faced a conundrum. There's a long history in the realms with the, lack of a better term, the superlative orders of surprising people you're bringing in that moment. The challenge there is you also want the people who care most about that individual to be here. Those two things, the goals at odds. So we decided to try something different. And as most of you know, 2 weeks ago, we presented a plaque to one member of the community explicitly stating our intent to bring him in to the order. This is his belt. And I would have Sir Tao Yakang, James Murphy, brought before the Knights of the Realms.
Making it up as we go. No, you can have an apple. No, it's totally fine.
As a voter for my commander, I present to you James Murphy, Knight of the Eternal Flame.
Now, James, I do not want you to think we're done with breaking tradition. This is a point where several of us knights would normally speak to your high qualities. And we will. We think it is equally, if not more important, that we hear from the community at large. And to represent them, I would ask Sir Geralf to come up.
So, a few of us have this running joke, maybe a tradition. We call it berserker points. And it tends to be for getting hurt from playing a little too hard, recovering poorly from questing a little too hard, maybe wearing pointed ears for a year from playing a little too hard. So we don't keep actual standings. They're not posted anywhere. So I can't tell you exactly where he is in the standings, but he's been doing respectably the last few years. Certainly at least honorable mention, if not in the top 5. And the reason I bring this up is I'm also pretty high in the standings. And I admit there's been a couple of times where you think, is this a good idea? Yeah, it's a lot of fun, a lot of great friends, but is this a good idea? And I look out, and he's crushing it. And I don't mean in the berserker sense. I mean in a good way. Running things. One of the first to help a newbie on the field. Raise them, give them equipment, give them pointers, involved in practice. Show up when somebody's first hurt as a first responder or unconscious in the shade somewhere. And personally, that's inspired me. He's a good friend. I swear to him because I respect the hell out of him. And I can't think of anyone more worthy of this honor. And it pleases me no end to see you receive it.
James, I want to talk to you about growth. Because there's this thing about growth, and we keep getting this idea, if I get to that point, I've got it made, right? Like, eyes on the prize. If I can get knighted, I'm going to be somebody. I'm going to be that person I'm supposed to be. If I can become, if I can become a KOEF, then I'm going to be that person that I really feel like I'm supposed to be. If I can become a KOR, a Knight of the Rounds, I'm going to be that person I'm supposed to be. And for me, one of the reasons you're here is you figured out the damn secret. We don't actually get to stop. We don't get to stop growing. We don't get to stop changing. The realms is dynamic and beautiful. And if we don't change and grow with it, we eventually fall away. And you haven't just changed and grown with it. You've chosen to push yourself to grow in a way that brings the community with you. And that, for me, is a major reason you are here. Because you have, from poorly attended tournaments to weaponsmithing to all of the great things you do now, it has been, and even before that, before my time in the rounds, and I'm older than dirt, so I'm sorry, but you are here because you haven't stopped, and equally importantly, you are here because we know you won't stop.
Hello, James, sir. It's going to be really cool to finally be able to drop the quote-unquote sir pretense because finally, it'll be really neat to be like, oh, right, here. And I'll get to see you at the meetings and all that other great stuff. But here's the real thing that makes me proud. Matt talks about change. Yes, we change, but you're also yourself. You're not going to be a different James when you walk into our meetings. You're not going to be a different James when you're helping out newbies. And you're not going to be a different James when you're doing communication, which is so important in our game. Open communication, making sure that everybody understands, getting on the game plan. James, I'm so proud of your service from the time that I remember you, from the ugly phone smith, putting out the little currency toes and everything, and learning all this different stuff, whether it was from social skills, or it was from throwing your own events versus just magic marshalling, all sorts of different things. And it all came down to me, that conversation that we had at Kona Heights this week. James, your service record to me is breathtaking. And that's right, you haven't given up, and you won't. And that's why I'm really proud to have you here.
As everyone says, record in this game is that probably longer than anyone. Maybe one or two people, but longer than most for sure. And for a lot of that time, you've been at my side. And the word that I would use to describe your career is dedication. You've grown, as we said, from back in the day when you threw possibly the worst event in Rome's history.
It's great, I had fun.
To one of the hardest working members of this community that I know. I mean, certainly I can say that anything in the history of Blackwood that we've done with all of our great ambitions, you've been one of the cornerstones to make them successful. From throwing our first events to saying we want to throw the best piece in the game to creating the most successful casino that this game has, in my opinion. Different folks. But through all of it, you've always been a linchpin in our success. Every success that Blackwood has is your success. I don't think we would be where we are without your tireless dedication. And I can tell you that I look at your activity and I see you working just as hard for every other event holder in the game as you do for us, which is something that not many can say. So,
I'm gonna come back to you. Wait right there. All right. Hi, community. So what does this mean to me? All right, that we're knighting James Murphy right now. James is one of the core people that brought me into Blackwood. Kind of a big deal, right? Yeah. Now I'm Prince. Yeah, that's the thing. James was there when I was made a Knight of Blackwood. Turns out he got made Knight Commander of Blackwood right after me, and what did he do? He turned and said, he's my first knight. To me. Knighted first knight. He did that for me. When I was made a Knight of the Eternal Flame, he was one of the people that spoke for me. So I'm in the rare position that now I get to speak for him in the KOR. James, when I was knighted into the Knights of the Eternal Flame, you said that I was what it meant to be a knight. You are what it means, brother. You work tirelessly, as people have said. Like, I've seen you lug that stupid trailer around all across New England for I don't know how many different event holders. And people don't recognize how much effort that takes. Like, that just adds hours to your trek. And that's just like one little thing that you do, okay? In our game, we don't have a medic call. We have a James call, okay? Like, I don't know how many times across the course of this year that I heard somebody get James instead of asking for the nearest person with medical ability around, all right? You've staffed so many events, held so many events, you're a hardworking NPC, like, we've gone over this. Like, you have made yourself a pillar of this community to the very core. You are one of the backbones of this community, and that's why you belong up here. Okay, do you understand?
I know we normally cheer at the end, and I know enough to know that you are going to cheer at the end anyway. But before we do that, one more call out to the community to be very clear that although the Knights of the Realms are the ones who recognize those who have earned the right to be a Knight of the Realms, they do that by service to the community. So what I want you to do now, if you have thrown an event and been helped by James, if you have been mentored by James, if you have been given advice from James, if you have been to an event that was directly impacted by James's help, what I need you to do now is to make enough noise to get Aston in trouble with the people we are renting this hall from. So can I get that right about now? We're the ones who called you up here. But in case there is any question in your mind of if you think the community thinks you deserve this, let that be put to rest. You belong here with us. And although this is now a formality, because you're here and we didn't surprise you, I ask you now, James, would you stand with us as a Knight of the Realms?
I would be incredibly honored. Yes, I will.
Accept this flow and
We, the now currently complete Knights of the Realms, thank you for your time. With one request. If you like service to the community, if you like people who help out, and you enjoy doing things like showing appreciation, it's almost like one of the Knights of the Realms has set up an opportunity to let others know how much you appreciate work they've done. So, if once court is done, you could find your way over and sign the banner. That would be awesome.
Thank you, Alexander. All right, that brings to the end our courtly proceedings tonight at Feast of the Leviathan 24.